right, guys, just when you thought the portal was over, it draws you right back in. Florida State had a visit over the weekend, as well as another player of interest. We'll start off with the visit over the weekend with JVR Suggs from Grand Valley State University, Division II school. Again, kid who's gained a lot of Power 5 interest, is actually taking, I think it will be a total of 5 Power 5 visits. Before Florida State, he visited Arkansas and Wisconsin. Florida State this weekend. He was at USC yesterday. And is expected to visit Michigan. Not sure if he's on his way there or is already there, but that one is expected as well. Overall, he seemed to really like the visit. He seemed to really get along with everybody. Obviously, one of the big draws was that he had someone to look at like Fisk and Verse, who have come through the program as defensive linemen from a lower level school, Albany, Western Michigan, and they've been turned into these big-time draft picks. Obviously, Jared first went in the first round. Fisk went in the early second, both to the Rams. And so he wanted to see how that happened. And he said you could definitely see how. That's what he told me after the visit Friday night. He also seemed to really connect with Coach Odell Hagens. He said you could really see the kind of person he was and kind of things like that. He just really stood out to him. He said what he told me was you can really see what kind of a person someone is when they talk about you and not just themselves. And that really stood out to him about Odell. As always, the Norvell energy stood out. Again, overall, it was just a really good visit. He seemed to have a really good time. Not really sure where it stands right now because he's still going on visits. I'm kind of just personally gut feeling. I feel like Michigan is one to worry about just because he is from Michigan, and to play for that hometown team is probably a pretty big deal. So that's just one to watch. But again, Florida State, Wisconsin, Arkansas, Michigan, and USC are all huge factors here. Now to the new one of interest, we have Gavin Meyer from Wyoming. He has played a lot in the last 2 seasons. He's played in all 13 games in both 2022 and 2023. He actually had his better year statistically in 2022, having 40 total tackles, 5 tackles for loss, and 4 sacks. And in 2023, he actually played more than 100 less snaps. So it seems like Wyoming went to more of the approach Florida State went to in 2023, where you're rotating guys in and out more frequently to keep them fresh. In 2023, you saw 26 total tackles from him and 3.5 tackles for loss and no sacks. But again, in 2022, he had 492 snaps, and in 2023, he only had 351. So again, they probably took more of that rotational approach. Where you do see the big jump in his game from 2022 to 2023 is in his PFF grades. In 2022, he had a defensive grade of 62.5. In 23, that jumped up to 78.5. Run defense was at a 59.5 in 22, jumped up to 77.9 in 23. To kind of show you where those are, that run defense grade of a 77.9 in 2023 put him at 64th in the country among the rest of the defensive linemen for run defense grades. For his overall defensive grade of a 78.4, that put him at the top 50 in the country among defensive linemen according to PFF. Those are both higher than Florida State's previous interior guy, Braden Fisk, who, as I said, went in the second round. This is one where we feel that a visit is likely and probably in the works. But we do know there's a lot of interest here from both sides, and this is one to watch. As for which one is a take over the other in Suggs or Meyer, it's a first-come, first-served situation, in my opinion. It's not a one's more coveted than the other. Whoever wants to commit first, I think, would get the spot. And again, we do expect them to only take one. And that is all that we got for the portal today. I'll keep you guys updated if anything else happens.